Welcome again to my tens and tens of friends. It is me, Teacher TJ. Today we are reviewing Abbott Elementary, Season 5, Episode 6. This episode is titled No Phones. This episode opens up with Gregory and the teachers all in the auditorium, and he's asking them what a sound is coming from his car. Janine encourages him to make the sound again. As he makes the sound, Jacob and her have to admit that they have no idea what the sound is. But way across the room on the stage, Ava asks him to stop making that broken brake caliper noise, or it could be that the bushings might be about to go out. Of course, she would know that. I find that hilarious because people like that actually exist. Like they can hear the sounds of a car and be like, oh, yeah, that's your rotors. What? What's a rotor? That's me. But the district is having a phones challenge because phones harm one's natural environment in schools, and that acronym is true. I think we could change the S in school to the S in society because phones can take away from natural conversations that people can have with other people that are around, and phones can alter engagement, or a lot of people don't even like to think anymore. They just immediately, what's 2 times 12? I don't know, let me see my phone. What? So I do believe that phones can not diminish but bring down the quality of everyday interactions. So this challenge requires them to put their phones in a lockbox. If it's open, they get a notification to the district that the phones have been taken out, and they lose the challenge, of course. But if their phone stays in the lockbox for a day, they could win a pizza party. The teachers, of course, are like totally with it because we know teachers are always trying to get kids to put their phones away. So the teachers, of course, are always trying to get students to put their phones away. And I think we've seen some provocative videos of how kids react when their phones are taken away. Like they really have serious meltdowns. Yeah. So the teachers are totally with the idea until they realize that they have to put their phones in the lockbox as well. So they reluctantly do so. And as the day goes on, the teachers realize that they really need their phones to carry out day-to-day, not interactions, but day-to-day activities. Just we do everything on our phones. Janine wants to pay rent and she does not have a phone. And I think a lot of us probably pay for our rent on our phone. I know I kind of do. So I totally get that. Greg's car is in the shop and he needs updates from the mechanic. And the updates are going to his phone. And the mechanic's main source of communication is through an app. So the teachers are trying to figure out how do they manage to do everything with their phones, and it's just hilarious. Of course, Ava has a burner phone because, Ava's gonna Ava. And she threatens one of the teachers. Her name is Dia. Ava tells her that she'll fire her if she says anything. So Dia makes a note. Not sure where that note is going to go, but she did make a note. Jacob is trying to keep up with current events without his phone, so he's using the computer. Using the computer is a hassle for Jacob because he wants live reactions. But you can't get live reactions on a school computer because there is no social media on the computers. Melissa's fantasy football team is doing bad, and I'm not sure how that works at all, so I really can't say too much about that. I do not watch football like that or know anything about the fantasy football situations. Barbara can't view her lesson plan, and they're all having real life technical issues because they cannot use their phones. I remember sharing moments of things that my students were doing with their parents. Sharing in a way had just came about in preschool, and I was working in a center, and it was just so much easier to, which a lot of times, a lot of things are so much easier to do on your phone versus a computer or whatever. So the higher ups kept coming into the classroom. We were like, it wasn't acceptable, and I'm like, but I'm engaged with the students. I'm not like, scrolling the internet or anything like that. My self-diagnosed ADHD makes sure that I am tuned in. When I'm teaching, I am responsible for my kiddos, and I take that seriously, being that I am somebody's mom. I know that I cannot see everything at all times. I like to make the kids believe that I do have eyes in the back of my head. Shout out to the camera systems. I have a few different ones in my house, so if I'm not in a room, I still see you. But I am not one to be on my phone all day and neglect the kids. That's just not my thing. I actually love teaching preschool. Now, I might be listening to music all day because I love music and I can't play what I want to hear on a loudspeaker. But I am really cognizant of what's going on with my children. So, yes, I might have an earbud in my ear, but that's that. Understanding I'm one of the best to do it. I mean, I'm just saying. Once the higher ups began to see that I was actually doing my job, they finally started allowing us to use our phones a little bit more in the classroom. I guess my work was speaking for itself. We weren't allowed to post kids on social medias or any of, the socials, which I totally understand. And having my own children and I own a home daycare, I try to find that line. And I think I figured it out because there are really some weirdos out there, and I would be heartbroken to find out that my fun pictures were used for something ill. So I think I have a solution for that. Anyhow, Melissa wanted to play some game on her phone, and she also needed her medical results that she didn't find too important. Barbara's upset that one of her church choir members' birthday is during this challenge, and she needs to wish her a happy birthday ASAP. If she's the last one to wish her a happy birthday, the choir member would not let her live that down. That's what she says. Ava is freaking out looking for a phone charger to her old phone. Mr. Johnson is doing good. He has no work, he says, because he has reminders so that he'll do his work. And since he can't get to those reminders, he doesn't have any work. I was going to do it, but the way my phone's set up. Janine still hasn't paid her rent, and it's the 5th. Greg can't get through to the mechanic because he needs his phone. So at this point, Greg and Janine agree it's time to call this challenge off. But the kids are becoming more productive. They're bonding and doing schoolwork, and they would have never been able to accomplish these things if they had their cell phones. One of the kids, I don't like to provide too many of the funny jokes, but because I recommend that you all watch Abbott Elementary. If you do not, it's hilarious. As a teacher, I think one of our first jobs is to keep everybody safe. So you already know, you two can't be next to each other. I don't care what y'all say. You're gonna hurt each other. It's just how it is. So Janine sees two of her students that are usually fighting, I assume, and she tells them, separate. And they're like, hey, chill, relax. We're cool. Since we ain't have our phone, we actually get to find out we have a lot in common. That's hilarious to me. But so Greg and Janine agree that they want to end the challenge for the day. Jacob's really going through it. You can see that he is visibly sweating, and the older teachers are having a hard time. Although they came from a time with no phones, they are used to their phones now. I am from the pre-cell phone era, and It took me a long time to get a phone. Not that I could not afford it. It was actually the idea of carrying this thing around with me every time that left my house. I have a hard time carrying my ID. I like have to make myself do that. I don't want to carry anything with me every day. And I absolutely overall hated the idea of people being able to call me and contact me anytime they wanted to. I mean, imagine that. I'm from the time where you could not reach me if I didn't want you to. Like we had house phones, but we cell phone. That means any time of day, no matter what's going on with my in my life, you can assume that you can reach me because I have a communication device that you should be able to get to me through. And I didn't like that. I'm like, listen, I want to talk to you. I'll talk to you. If I leave my house, I don't need to talk. I'm out. So it took me a very long time to actually get a phone, carry that phone every day. And then as the phones started progressing, because they weren't like they are now, it was like flip phones, uh, basic screens and stuff. Then it took me a long time to upgrade my phone because I was like, why would I pay all that money for something I really don't want? And today I am still terrible when it comes to terrible in everybody else's opinion, but for me, I'm good. I'm like, my phone is not upstairs. If I go upstairs, my phone's probably not upstairs with me. If I go downstairs, my phone's probably not downstairs with me. The only thing, honestly, that I really use my phone for is the YouTube. That's it. I'm not on the socials like that, and I don't care to text and call anyone all day, and I don't like that type of access uh being available for myself. No, mm-mm. But yeah, I had a house phone, and nine times out of 10, anywhere that I was, my baby was. So I got everything I need. My baby, I am her milk. What I need a phone for? Then I got used to my phone and I slowly began to engage in social media. And then social media became too much, deleted it, threw that away. And I'm still, like I said, really working on social media. So yeah, I'm okay with not having a cell phone, except for some of the apps that I absolutely need. Remember, my sense of direction is terrible. So I need my apps to get around. Back in my day, we would have to go into the the gas stations and get directions. So I would go in the gas station, get the direction, and to get me a little far, but it wouldn't. I would have to go to a few gas stations to get where I was going. So Jacob tried to convince Ava that she needed to text O'Shawn, her hot boyfriend, so he wants her to end the challenge. And Ava's like, I don't text him; he texts me. Shout out to Ava. Everyone else is freaking out, but the kids are so chill, and it really goes to show that sometimes you got to tell a child what they need because they don't know until you give it to them. Um, I'm at the point where my kids didn't know that you need to turn in that phone at 10 o'clock. Let me get that about you, player. Because, no, first of all, my parental anxiety is like, what is on your phone past 10 o'clock? My mom raised me to be, to kind of fear the nighttime madness. So now I have a grown daughter and she tries to like it'll be like she has a 24-hour gym and she'll say something crazy like, I'm gonna go to the gym. At 11 o'clock, girl, go sit down. But I try to give her freedom and her space. And I just pray to God every time she leaves, she comes back same way she left. Because weirdos be outside at night. But I don't want to raise her to be afraid of the outside world. But I do like try to make her realize, girl, nighttime, we're going to sleep. That's what we should do at nighttime. Gregory comes to the realization that he's just going to have to call a cab and go down to check on his car. And he realizes that he doesn't have his phone. You know, we always, let me get my, I ain't got my phone. How many times have we reached for our phones after leaving them at home or wherever, only to realize that over and over again during the day that you do not have your phone today? It becomes like a continuous pattern. It's like you just keep looking for your phone or physically reaching for it, although you know it's going. So all the teachers are figuring it out, or at least trying to, but it's a struggle. It just keeps boiling down to they need their phones. So they meet up at the library where their phones are locked up in the case, and they all agree to the challenge ending. Of course, Melissa has a scheme to get the phones out of the lockbox, and everybody is with it. The teachers consult with the students to end the phone lockdown, but the students are not in agreement, okay? So they do some negotiating, and the teachers agree to buy the students pizza, support their pizza party, instead of continuing to compete for the pizzas. Gregory had to step in and say, no, we're really going to buy your pizza because the students know that Janine ain't got no money. Basically, she pay her rent on the 5th every time. So they're like, we don't trust your word. I found it hilarious that Gregory agrees to chip in for the pizza, since we know how he feels about pizza. Sidebar, my favorite episode thus far is the pizza episode. This guy Gregory explained all the food that he didn't eat. And when he said fruit shouldn't be wet, that took me out, because it's like, yeah, why is fruit wet? But it's pie, and that really tickled me. The teachers realized that the one student is really good at negotiating. They feeling like, you're beside yourself. You know, we kind of pumped you up with the science fair, and now your confidence is a little up there, honey. But she bargains for pizza, soda, and K-pop demon something hunters for a week. Yeah, I had no idea who these K-pop demon hunters were until my students kept asking me about them. I'm like, okay, that's a thing. Sounds scary, but it's not. I really haven't gotten into it. But that's the great thing about being a teacher and a parent, is the kids kind of help you stay in the loop of everything. But when they finally get their phones back, Gregory realizes that since he didn't reply to any of the messages, they were going to replace his all 4 of his calibers instead of the one. When they finally get their phones back, Gregory realized that since he did not reply to the messages, they were going to replace all of his calibers, or whatever that is, on his car, which is 4 times the amount that he had originally agreed to pay. Janine's toilet won't be fixed until after the weekend, because she didn't reply to a text like, why would you ask me, do I want my toilet fixed? But Melissa's team is doing good. She says some other game stuff that my brain refused to comprehend. Ava's only has 76 DMs. She says her phone was dry the whole time. 76 DMs seems like a lot to me. I don't know. But anyway. Fun fact, I've never really been in my DMs, I don't think. Jacob got no messages, no texts. His phone was dry for real. But he was happy because he got to change his profile pic, I think it was. Barbara did need her phone because her daughter, Taylor, is having a baby. And that was probably the only. I had no idea that Taylor was pregnant, but yeah, she's having a baby. So yay. She really delighted in that, knowing that her choir, I'm gonna call her friend, associate, but the choir person whose birthday it was, and Taylor having that baby, their birthday would be on the same day. So she was happy about that. Although they ended the challenge early, they actually won because no other school lasted nearly as long as them. Turns out the school district was upset with this challenge because they felt that people need their cell phones. And Mr. Johnson remembers from his phone reminders that he was supposed to speak to Emily about the HVAC system, but she was leaving for the day, so he was like, oh, forget it. I'm sure that situation will come back to haunt him. At the end of the episode, all of the teachers were in the break room, and you could hear a pin drop because they're all scrolling through their phones or engaged with whatever is going on with their phone. So clearly, phones harm one's natural school environment. So maybe they can think of a way to, I guess it's hard to tell grown people to engage. My daughter, I know she asked me, like, can my friends come over? And I'm like, yeah. And then you go in there and they all quietly scrolling their phones. Why is she here? But yeah. This episode was entertaining as usual. Um, like I said before, if you do not watch Abbott, please go watch it. If you like good, fun, funny content, it is definitely that. Shout out to all my tens and tens of friends. Bye for now.